has just about ended, and a lot of us have been observing the Navratri fasting for the 9 days. We all know that there are certain food groups while during those 9 days we completely eliminate them from our diet. Now, it may be a customized dieting, fasting that you must have observed, or a proper, rigid way of doing the Navratri fasting. For both the cases, there are certain food groups that nobody really touches for those 9 days. And once you come back to your normal eating routine after Navratri, there is an urge to just completely go for those foods and just hog on to those foods as much as you can. My advice is just keep your calm, come back to the foods, but also continue having the healthier grains that you have been eating during Navratri. So while we are observing the fasting for Navratri, there are grains such as buckwheat, sago, tapioca, millets, pearl millets. All these grains we include in our diet, and we avoid having rice and wheat. And I would highly recommend that continue including these healthy grains in some form or the other even after Navratri has ended. Try to include a lot of seasonal vegetables in your diet. Navratri usually marks a change in season when it happens twice a year. Each time it happens, the season changes from one to another. So just embrace this seasonal change and go completely seasonal while you're picking up your fruits and vegetables that you want to include in your diet. While this Navratri that just ended falls in September or October and marks the seasonal change from autumn to winter. So the most commonly found vegetables during winter season are like spinach, peas, fenugreek leaves, carrots, cauliflower, cabbage. Include loads of these in your diet. Also, citrus foods are available in abundance during winters. Please make sure that you include all the seasonal fruits in your daily diet. Come back to a normal routine of eating, but try and maintain good gaps between your meals and do not go for excessive portion sizes. See, as long as while you were, observing a proper eating routine, even while you're fasting, it is not really hard to come back to normal eating after Navratri is over. But there are certain things that must be kept in mind. A lot of foods and dishes that are cooked during these 9 days to open the fasting are often deep fried and high calorie. So if you have been observing these 9 days in a way where you have been consuming a lot of these deep fried items and a lot of potatoes, sweet potatoes in your diet and deep fried like kuttu ke aate ki puris and kuttu ke aate ke pakoras and all that, if that has been really your staple diet for the past 9 days, then I would suggest you have to come back to a diet where you kind of like relax yourself a little from deep fried food completely and go for healthy eating. You could go for smoothies, include a lot of salads in your diet, have like boiled soups of dals and lentils and chickpeas and rajmas. And now that Navratri is over, you can also go for non-vegetarian food items which were restricted for these 9 days. So go for a good high protein diet, but try hard to just completely detoxify yourself by not having any fried foods for at least a couple of weeks. Because usually if you really see a lot of eating that happens during the 9 days, even if you've been observing fasts, is all deep fried. However, if you were following a meal plan and if you were mindfully eating and making the right choices during the Navratri, then there's not much to worry about. While for these 9 days, there are certain rules that seem very restrictive, but certain things about the Navratri diet is very, very healthy. A lot of vegetables and fruits and the grains which are allowed to us during the Navratri fasting are highly nutritious and very healthy for our gut health. So if you can manage to still keep including them in your diet, not as in completely eliminating the other food groups like you were doing while fasting, you can now work on having a balance between these grains and the grains that were not allowed and the vegetables and fruits that were allowed and not allowed. Navratri fasting is also a very, very low salt food that is allowed during Navratri fasting. Some people consume just one meal with salt and completely say no to salt for the rest of the day. It's actually a very healthy habit to take forward even after Navratri. Just go low on sodium in your diet unless and until it's otherwise recommended for you by your doctor. And instead of having just a lot of salted meals like people usually do, like in an Indian cuisine, if you look at our thali, we have like certain things that we eat with our cereal. So it would either be a protein and some cooked vegetable, or a raw vegetable, or a chaat, or a chutney, or different type of dips and different type of salads. And each and every dish that we serve on that platter contains salt. So if you look at it, some people even put salt even in the making the rotis and the chapatis. So if you consider the amount of sodium that we are adding in our food, and then the amount of sodium that actually naturally comes in the vegetables and fruits and grains that we consume, and all the other kind of processed food that is already part of our diet. So if you really calculate, the amount of sodium a person consumes is really high. So, if we can continue eating like we were eating for these 9 days, our sodium levels are going to drop down, and it's going to be only beneficial for our health.
Press the bell icon to never miss a video from One World News.